What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how you guys can use a crossover release, okay? So we're going to be talking about some of the different techniques that you can use for this open field crossover, some situations where you close the distance with the DB and you hit him with this 1-2 to get some separation. So how can we do that? What's the mechanics behind that? And how you guys can get more separation, okay? But also, fellas, if you guys want the ultimate wide receiver training package that we offer on my website, right? It's a specific month-long gym program and our full technique manual with everything that you need to know about the wide receiver position completely broken down step by step. Check out that very first link in the description. Discounted price from purchasing these two programs originally by themselves. So I hope we get you guys on that soon. Again, our ultimate wide receiver training package, link in the description. Very first one. Let's get started with this video. So we're going to be looking at this slant route on the goal line here, and we're going to be talking about this open field crossover that we make when we attack the leverage of a DB. So first things first is that I want to talk about the mechanics of this movement. So when we hit a 1-2, right, the thing that gets a lot of people confused is they don't have that good thought process in their head of, okay, I got to step with this foot first, and it's not instinctual, right? So you want to step anytime you're making a 1-2, anytime you're making a double move, you want to step to the side that you want to go first. So if we want to go inside right now, I'm going to be stepping with my inside foot first. So in this situation, we got an inside leverage DB. We're down here like in tight on the 10-yard line, right? So if I attack his leverage, well, we can probably, why is he inside shade in the first place, right? He doesn't want to give up a slant, right? So if I attack his leverage and I square him up, what he's taught to do right here, and I don't know, DB probably should have played this a little bit better, is keep his leverage to the inside. He's taught to kind of drift. He's taught to stay to the inside and not let you cross his face and do exactly what we do right here, right? But maybe I've done this a couple times where I attack him and I've just ran a fade to the back corner of the end zone. Quarterback's throwing this thing up. He's kept his leverage, but he's gotten beat every single time. That's how this thing can build, right? So we want to make sure that we're here. We square him up. Even if he does keep his leverage and I got to run this slant, I still want to self-fade because he's got all this space to recover to. So I want to threaten him there. I want to make him over anxious. So when we throw that double up, when he throws this 1-2, right, you see how this receiver takes a quick, sudden first step. That's the most important part about this double up. You want to be sudden with the first one, and you want to use this cut, that sudden cut, to really push and throw yourself to the outside. And you want to use your body to sell this thing. So you see how he pushes off of that leg and he's pushing off the inside part of his foot. Anytime you guys work a 1-2, anytime you guys work a double up, and that goes for a rocker step even at the top of the break, that first initial cut has got to be sudden. There's got to be some explosion there, and you got to push off that inside part of your foot to throw to the outside. Because what's the DB watching? The DB is going to be watching your hips, right? So if I can turn my hips and throw your hip almost like a crossover in basketball, that's why we call this an open field crossover, and you can really sell this thing with your upper half, that's what's more likely to get him to jump. Now, you see when we push to the outside move here as well, where's that weight distributed? On the inside part of his foot, because that's where you're going to get the most explosion. So when you push off that initial step, the whole time you should be working on that inside part of your foot. You see guys like Jerry Jeudy, right? You see them work a lot of explosive movements. You see them work a lot of moves at the top of the route, like rocker steps, triple rockers. Odell's another great guy to see that. Anytime you're working that 1-2, you want to live on that inside part of your foot. And a lot of people say, oh, well, that's a lot of pressure on your knee. It's not pressure on your knee if you keep your toes pointed forward. If you open your toes way out and you open up your hip and then you try to push, yeah, you're going to hurt yourself. Or if you turn your toe inside like this, yeah, you're going to probably hurt yourself. But you have that great foot strike. You're on the balls of your feet, keeping your toes forward. You're in that explosive position. It's just like basketball. That's all it is. Obviously, having knee and ankle stability plays a role in this. Obviously, that's something that you've got to work on separately to get better and better at this, to be more comfortable. But that's how we get that clean explosion right here, because you see we get him to jump. I'm pushing off of this cut to give me that explosion, and then I use my arm drive to turn that into acceleration so I could win that race back to the ball and cross his face, which is what he was not supposed to allow me to do. That's a great job utilizing this open field crossover. Let's watch this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job squaring him up, hitting him with that 1-2, get him to jump to the outside or get him to freeze and then create some separation. So now we're going to be looking at this route here. Another slant situation, right? But now this is more like a head-up situation, right? Whether we're in the open field, right? Anything like this, we want to try to operate and sell what? We want to try to operate and sell fade. That's the most important thing about this open field crossover, right? So now, when this receiver comes off here, he gives this little kind of hesitation move, kind of puts some brakes on a dime, then he gives this little head and shoulder fake to the outside. Biggest thing, again, same technique in this move. That's why I want to point this thing out. It's the same technique that we were just talking about, right? So your first step wants to be sudden. You want to be here. He's trying to sell like he's going diamond release, one jab to the inside, and then bursting back up to the field, because that's a great way to get some separation on a fade route. You go diamond release, so you take off 3 hard steps to the outside. So let's say we were here. It would be 1, 2, 3. Give one jab back to the inside, then you push up vertical, right? So that's what we're trying to sell right now. So I'm trying to sell here. He's going 1, 2, 3, one jab to the inside, and then he throws his head and shoulder fake to the outside. Maybe a couple times Everything's a setup, fellas. So maybe a couple times I did hit that diamond release. I took 3 steps to the outside, 1 jab to the inside, then slipped back up vertical, and this quarterback dropped this thing over the top. Now I'm trying to sell exactly that. I'm trying to take 3, give that move to the inside, throw a cut back to the outside, head and shoulder fake, and get this DB anxious to jump, right? Especially if he has high eyes. DB should not be looking at the shoulders and should not be looking at the eyes because that will lie to you. They should be focusing on the hips, but even so, he does a great job of throwing his hips to the outside. And like we were talking about, it's a quick, sudden first move. You see, that's a quick, sudden first move, and what does he do? Pushing off the inside arch of his foot, throwing his hip to the outside. The second move, he steps a little bit further and where his toes, pointed straight forward, waits on the inside arch of his foot so he could drive off of that cut and continue to accelerate and win the race back to the ball. That's perfect technique right here on this crossover here by this receiver. So again, sell like I'm going diamond release, give a jab back to the inside, throw back to the outside, then run this slant. That's a great way to get a slant. That's a great way to use a slant that builds off the diamond release, right? So you got 3 separate ways to do this release now. You got diamond release, just run a slant. You got diamond, 1 jab, run a fade. Now you got here diamond, 1 jab, catch myself back to the slant, okay? And again, takes a little bit long, but there are different scenarios that you could work this, right? So you don't want to do this if you're in a play concept where it's double slant like this and you're the first read, probably not something you want to go with. Probably want to just go with the straight diamond and get there right now. But maybe it's like you're here, maybe this receiver's got a corner, maybe this receiver's got a post, then you got a slant right back underneath. Quarterback's going from 1 back to 2 and then coming to you. That's when you could work a longer release, similar to this type of a deal, okay? Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So great job giving him that burst up to the diamond, giving that 1-2, and then bursting back over the middle. All right, so now we're going to be looking at this rider from Van Jefferson. Now we're going to be talking about this release off of kind of like a hesitation skip. So a crossover off a little hesitation move, okay? So let's watch this thing again, full speed. So he comes off here, hesitates, gives that 1-2, gets that DB to turn his hips, and we make this catch. So now, the biggest thing I wanted to cover this on the goal line, especially when, again, we're running an inside release. This is another slant route example. I know you could do this, though, on a fade. You could do this on a lot of different things. It's not just about slants, but that's just kind of how the examples played out today because these 3 examples were great examples I felt for you guys to learn from. Now, when we're on the goal line, right, what does no DB want to get beat on? A fade. Goal line fade to the back corner of the end zone. He gets beat by a step or 2. That quarterback just drops it right over right over the top, and we make this play. No DB wants to get beat on that. So what we do is how many times have you guys seen give this little hesitation skip and then they just win that race to the back corner? That's how you build off of this. Maybe you've been backside over and over again. Maybe the team's been running stretch right, power right, whatever, and you're backside. Setting this guy up, setting this DB up by coming off with something very similar is what gets you some separation. So you see how Jefferson, and I'm not saying he's been doing this, I'm just saying that's something that you guys can do, right? I obviously don't know the thought process of him in this specific moment because it's just, you never know, right? You wouldn't know unless you asked him but it's, again, that's something that you guys can do. You guys can use this as just a setup. You guys can use this as a way to set this DB up and make everything look the same. So you see how he comes off, gives this little hesitation, bam. And again, pushes off of this leg, sells with that upper half, eyes are to the outside, shoulders and hips are committed to the outside, and you see how that DB turns that hip. Because again, on the goal line, we are always a vertical threat. You are always a vertical threat when it's down tight, especially if you're a bigger receiver, athletic guy. So make sure that we sell that. Make sure my feet are sudden. I sell with my upper half. He doesn't even throw necessarily as much as he could have, but that's what gets that DB to turn is those eyes, those shoulders, and those hips. So make sure anytime we're throwing a double move, feet are sudden, you're committing your shoulders and hips, and even your eyes go to the outside. DB shouldn't be looking at the eyes, but we want to make sure that we commit all 3. We have explosion there, hips and shoulders are there, and eyes are to the outside. Great job by Jefferson. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Hesitate, give that 1-2. Be sudden with your feet, and make sure we sell with my upper half. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And also, fellas, ultimate wide receiver training package on our website, specific month-long gym program, and all the details of the wide receiver position broken down into a specific technique manual for you guys. Hope we get you guys on that soon. Again, very first link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.